Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Danny Chess and welcome back to Racer or Random SCP Review. Today we will continue from the previous part of SCP-5763 or SCP that is called I dreamed I was a butterfly. And yeah, so it is quite uncommon for the title, right? It is literally a sentence. Um, it's not like excuse me, it's not like an object, right? A call or a name of an object, but it's more like a sentence, right? And yeah, I dreamed I was a butterfly. So uh, to summarize things, like I said in the previous part, I do this recording in the next day. So roughly there's like about a day in separation, right, between this part and the previous part. And therefore, I might actually like forgot some things, right? So yeah, I guess to summarize, basically 5763 is it's more like a concept, right? Well, I mean, it is not a concept. It is literally a medicines, right? Or a drug, or, a type of drugs, basically. And it was it was made by a person named Jamie, if I remember correctly. And you know, these researcher that made this firstly thought that the drug failed, right? And he needed to visit this surrealistics to get more ingredients, right? However, he, to put it simply, he didn't get the ingredients that he needed, right? So he got an idea. What about we did nothing and we just put some kind of uh, belief in it, right? So it's more like a placebo effect. Thinking that we actually added some sorts of medicines into this without actually adding anything, right? So it's like it's the same, but the difference is that we believe that we actually put something in it, right? um Again, long story short, the drug works, right? So yeah, basically SCP-5763, you can call it like some kind of drugs or maybe a concept, right? A concept of placebo. Also, in the previously we saw this clickable link over here, right? Like a hyperlink. And when I clicked this, it actually guided me to SCP 4923, I think, if I remember correctly. So it redirects it redirected me to a page of other SCP, right? I didn't actually watch or I didn't actually read the whole thing because I didn't want to like spoil myself, just in case in the future I actually landed on that specific SCP, right? So yeah, this one SCP-4923, which is actually mentioned in this draft, right? I haven't actually checked the other three over here, so yeah, there's that. The last time we actually uh ended in the offset page, I think. Yeah, after this the story doesn't end that easy, right? So we clicked that link and it brought us to this site over here, right? Which is still SCP-5763 uh slash offset slash one. It's also interesting that at the end of the website over here, if you can see up there, it is actually has one in it, right? So it's offset slash one. I'm actually curious if there will be offset slash two slash three and so on and so on, right? So it's more like like there are more documents like this, right? Like journals, basically. So yeah, let's just start. I guess a harmless pill, medicine, or procedure prescribed more for the psychological benefit to the patient than for any physiological effect. In my dreams, I see myself looking back. Okay, a construct of what I believe. And I now know my psyche is under attack by the trick I no longer believe. Um, okay, so this one basically he dreamed about himself, I guess. Um, Something about that he believed, right? Maybe it, maybe the placebo, I would say, like because he believed that the placebo works, right? So it works. So yeah, and I now know my psyche is under attack. It means, I think that means that maybe his actual body like prone to something, I don't know, by the trick I no longer believe. I also don't know what this mean. Does this mean that the person actually no longer believes in placebo? So because all this placebo concept only works if you believe that it can happen, right? So if you don't believe that it can happen, then like most likely it will stop happening, right? The effect will stop, and there will be no more like the effects of these drugs will wear off eventually, right? So yeah. SCP-5763 is a placebo that works under very careful test. Okay, so I also forgot that these bold letters or bold writings over here. I think this is the unconscious part of the researcher. I think writing this down, right? So like this is the actual person, right? This is Jamie, and then this is maybe when he snapped out of reality, probably, right? SCP-5763 is a placebo that's something, right? Initially that Jamie wrote, I think. Um, like maybe it's a placebo that kills, right? Who knows? And then it censored, whatever it is, it censored itself, and it uh, replaced the word kills with works potentially, right? I mean, I'm not sure anyway. SCP-5763 is a placebo that works. Under very careful doses, I can see both worlds at once. Reds and golds waving in my vision, blues and grays lurking alongside them. I was once blind, I can see again. Um, okay, so I was once blind. So it means that whatever it is that kinda like the corruption that occurred, it could not see at first, right? Maybe because it is applied, like it has a host, like a vessel probably. Then it can actually see now, right? From the perspective of the researcher, right? That actually creates this potentially. Also, like I said again in the previous one, the color red, gold, blue, and gray isn't, like, aren't these like basically LSD, right? Like, like an explosive colors, right? After, like you took that, I think. I mean, I don't know any of drugs, right? I just know it from general game, like game basically, right? Like indie games basically. Like watching other YouTubers play some random games, right? And then there's this effects, right? And then they mentioned some kind of the LSD, etc., etc., right? So yeah. Okay, story. Once upon a time, I dreamed I was a butterfly, fluttering high hither and thither. What does that mean? Higher? Is that like fluttering higher and higher? To all intents and purposes, a butterfly. I was conscious only of my happiness as a butterfly, unaware that I was myself. Soon I awaked, and there I was, veritably myself again. Now I do not know whether I was then a man dreaming I was a butterfly, or whether I am now a butterfly dreaming I am a man. Oh, that's actually deep. Um, yeah, like if you dream about something, right? Is that dream is actually a dream, or is that dream is actually a reality, and then that this reality is actually a dream, right? What makes you sure of that? This actually kind of like reference from Inception again, right? The movie Inception, I think, when like are we still dreaming? And then the woman, I think, decided that she jumped, right. Although the although Leonardo DiCaprio already mentioned her that in fact it is reality, right. So she yeah, right. So basically she ended her reality, right. And then Leonardo DiCaprio tried to live with that guilt, right. um so yeah, anyway, I mean, it looks like it got its reference from that as well. Like this one, right? It's basically like confused whether which one is the dream and which one is the reality, right? So yeah, except it's clear now. We are neither. Man is butterfly, butterfly is man. To think we were ever anything different is insanity. We weren't meant to awaken in the first place. Okay, so this is the corruption, right? For a drug that doesn't work, precision is the key. Okay. In my slumber, I understand my mistakes, and in waking, I can correct them. Okay, so when they took the truck, basically like they felt enlightened, right? Like they know what's going on, what is like the flaw of reality, right? And then when they wake, I mean, he can correct it or them. Where did we go wrong? I don't know. Do you think it can be put back together? Jamie? You're Jamie. I know. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Another theory. So, interesting. So, okay. So, I have like a little bit of a wild theory. I think what's happening is here is that Jamie is now actually the corruption, and then whatever it was, the effect of the drug, the placebo effect, it actually is an what is it like it is living, right. It is like a sentient basically, and it took over Jamie's body, or took over Jamie's took over Jamie's consciousness, like over here, right. Like again, they kind of like they don't know which one is which, right, the dream and reality. And then it said it's neither. The man is now butterfly and the butterfly is man, basically, right. So yeah, like, do they swap places or switch places? I mean, I don't know, right. You're Jamie, I know. The ballad of a man named Faust, a person who seeked a means to an end. Faust was bored a scholarly life up on his gilded throne and comfortable office desk chairs too monotone. After driving himself to the brink, he forces up a demon of the darkest depths to gain knowledge, powers that would let him see the entire world for what it was. The devil's representative, Mephistopheles, appears, striking a unique deal: magical powers, cognitive capabilities, and rational far exceeding baseline reality for a time. But when the time ran out, researcher Robertson would be found dead in his office. Okay. Oh, so yeah, okay, so another theory then, maybe, not maybe, I mean, I think what happened here is that apparently this um has something to do with demon as well, like like when you took the drug, you basically open a pathway, or you make yourself connected to the demon or devil realm, right. And then these devil's representative, it appears, right, strike a deal basically, to give magical powers, right. uh to make you capable and rationalize something far exceeding baseline reality, right? So yeah, again, enlightenment, right? So you will be given something enlightening, right? And it's only for the time, right? But however, after the time runs out, then you're dead, right? And then it try to strike through this, right? Um, don't know why, like, I mean, it's for this reading purpose, right? For this document purpose, I guess. But I think what's happened here is that every strike through is probably like a backspace, like they delete this, right? So, it's a strike through basically, same as that. Are you demon? You're not going to get an answer, not like that. I know that. Foss would go on to meet many people and abuse his newly found powers of the demonic and anomalous world to claim all he wanted for himself. Okay, so this is a story, I guess, about named someone named Foss, right? Um, which also took this, I think. Um, yeah, this one, right? And the demon actually gave them powers, I guess, and he was untouchable. We only have one option, don't we? I don't want to. We have to. Dot dot dot. Item SCP-5763, object class Keter. Although it could also be very safe. Well, that's what you said, right? I mean, well, yeah, technically it can be safe because again, this is a drug, right? Like, you can just store this, like, ban this, right? Like, like if you have, the SCP Foundation can actually just find or found the recipe for these drugs, right? Like the contents of the medicines, right? And then they can just basically store this and any and store the rest of the medicines, store the recipe, like put it in a locker, like a locked box, I think, and like really secured it, right? So it can also be very safe, to be honest. It cannot, because it is safe to contain, right? It literally is just a drug, like the thing, the demon will only occur if you take the pills, right? Which basically you make a connection to the demon world, right? Or demon realm. So, technically speaking, you can just store this, or, like maybe destroy, but not really, right? I mean, that's the point of the SCP Foundation. It is to securely contain this, right? And protect as well. Um, Special containment procedures. Cut your losses. If you can't do that, avoid taking agnostics completely. Taking even one can open you up to him. Yeah, okay, so here we go, right? Even only one can bring you to them, right? To the demon, basically. So, yeah, basically, this is like a. Yeah, I guess this is like technically drugs that can connect you to demon, I guess, and then the demon will take over your soul potentially, right? Because again, over here, it said that after the time ran out, the person would be found dead, right? So yeah. Description: SCP-5763 is either an unknown entity that governs a world of psychology adjacent to ours, giving gifts of sight to things we aren't meant to understand, but at a heavy price, or is a powerful hallucinogen that enables comprehension of things that aren't even real. Testing inconclusive. Um, Okay, so it's also interesting over here, because it is either this one, a powerful hallucinogen, which is the drug, or either that, 5763 is basically the demon, right? The entity, right? Basically. And yeah, I guess there's two interpretations over here, but I would still think that the entity will not be able to make contact with you unless you take these medicines, right? Well, now that I think about it, since this is placebo, and like the concept of placebo has already been applied to not only these specific drugs but also to many drugs, right? I guess we can now say that 5763 is now the entity, right? Instead of the placebo, right? Because people actually use placebo, right? Like drugs or medicines that actually has placebo in it, right? Um, so that cannot actually be contained. Therefore, if we think about it that way, then 5763 can be considered as the entity, right? That can come actually if you took any sort of placebo medicines, right? So yeah, addendum dot dot dot. Okay, so the addendum is not mentioned over there. Yeah, Jamie, this isn't. Stop it, Jamie. How do you get rid of him? Jamie, you want to like? Is he even real? Are agnostics? Well, did he open up a doorway? Did he make a little demon, or did he get to drug? You know just as well as me. I don't think that's ours to decide. Then whose is it? And the story ends. So yeah, I guess what the creator's telling is basically this is like an open-ended, right? Like it's up to the readers, I mean, or the viewers, basically. Like you can think of this like um is SCP-5763 is like a doorway, that connects you to the demon, or it is actually the literal demon, right? Or it is just the drug. So like yeah, did we open up the doorway? Did we make a literal demon, or did we get to drug, right? Because again, like if you got to drug, then you don't know what's real or not, right? And then your mind can start making up things, which one of them can be making like an imaginary demon, right? So yeah, you don't know if the demon will is actually real or not. And although here it seems like the demon is actually real, and it can actually kill someone. This can also mean that the person got overdosed, right, because of the drug. Then it can also be dead, right? So the reason of the person dying is not always because of the demon, right? Maybe it's simply just because of overdose, right? um, so uh, yeah, I guess it is actually interesting. It is basically a concept of placebo, right? um, like if to put simply short, basically SCP-5763, to me anyway, if I have to summarize this, I would say that this is like a certain type of placebo that is actually harmful, right? So yeah, like placebo, it's not always great, right? And in this case, placebo is actually a dangerous thing. It is a harmful thing, and maybe that's why it's called killer, because how to differentiate the placebo from um, the placebo that caused these, and the placebo that um, like caused the this enlightenment, right? Enlightenment, basically. So yeah, like this one, right? Keto, right? Because you cannot contain that, right? Because the placebo is already used nowadays, right? So basically it yeah, I guess in a way the SCP-5763 is um placebo effect. Like if you think that this works, then this works, right? Like if you think that this works, but also it has more to it, then this can potentially happen, right? And you don't want this, obviously. But yeah, I think that will be it for this one, SCP-5763. I dreamed I was a butterfly. Um, so yeah, and then I woke up, and turns out that I am actually a butterfly. So interesting. Yeah. Do I think the creator will add more to it? I don't think so, honestly, because um, it already gives enough description, at least until this point. It also leave the thing open ended, right? Like then whose is it, right? I guess this is like basically simply said that it is up to the reader, I think anyway. Or maybe it is up to other SCP that will further explain about this, right? But yeah, I think that'll be it for today's Racer random SCP review about SCP-5763 part 2, right? So yeah, it's another two parts SCP. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you again in the next episode of Racer. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you again very, very soon. See ya.